let's make some glazed turkey breast for Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're going to be cooking up some turkey breast tomorrow because today we need to get it brined. For the white meats like the turkey breast, brining it really does help keep that moisture in as you're cooking it. We're going to be brining it in my container here, but first we got to head over to the stove to start building the brine concentrate. We're starting with 2 cups of water. And my burner going on medium-high. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of kosher salt, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 8 small garlic cloves that have been smashed, and 3 sprigs of rosemary. We're going to bring this to a boil and stir until our salt and sugar are dissolved. Give it a stir every minute or so, just so that sugar and salt has a chance to mix up and dissolve. All right, we are at a boil here. We're going to now transfer this into our container. We're going to add 4 cups of ice to this to get it to start cooling down. We're going to set this aside and move on to getting our turkey breast ready. So here is our turkey breast. As you can see, it's a whole turkey breast, both halves. What we're going to be doing is breaking this down a little bit. I want to lay it flat like you're going to spatchcock it. And also the spine is left in here. We're going to remove that. So I have my poultry shears. We're just going to go up along the spine. Just like that. And as I always say, if you're making stock, this is a great piece to use for turkey stock. Now before I lay this flat, I want to show you there's still some ice in here because I've been thawing this for several days. And if there is a little bit of ice in it at this point, don't worry about it. It's going to be in the brine overnight in the refrigerator. That's fine. You want it thawed, but if there's a few parts that are still icy, that's good. Now I want to go ahead and go along the breastbone here and just start scoring it. That just gets us going when we're going to spatchcock this and lay it flat. Just like that. Now, any big excess pieces of skin here, like along here, I want to trim off. Any excess lumps of fat, go ahead and pull those. Got little bits of the rib right here that I'm going to remove. And ribs on this side. Sometimes you will get the turkey breast like this with a lot of the ribs left on there. You can leave them on, but I want it to be a little more symmetrical like this. That's looking pretty good. You see up here, a little bit of extra skin that I want to get rid of. A little bit more. All right, let's get this in our brine. Now here's our chilled down brine concentrate. And to this, I'm going to add 1 orange that I've cut down into slices. And get our turkey breast in here. I want to get it meat side down, and we're going to pour in enough water to make sure this is covered. It's cold water. That is good. All right, I'm going to get the lid on this. It's going to go in the refrigerator overnight, and tomorrow it'll be ready for us to cook up. But first, right after this, we're going to make our glaze. Now our glaze you could just mix up in a bowl and really mix it well, but I'm going to use my NutriBullet today. So you could do it in a blender if you don't have a NutriBullet. Just want to get it really mixed up well. Now the base of it is something that I have. You can choose a different one. I'm using 8 ounces of this pineapple mango chutney, but really you could use any sort of jam or marmalade that you like. Next up, a tablespoon of soy sauce. Finally, 1/2 cup of orange juice. Get my base on. And we mix. We'll take a little taste from the blade section. Oh, that's going to be good. So I'm going to transfer this into a container, and we're going to go on to making our last thing for tomorrow, and that is a butter. Now, the reason we're making a flavored butter is this is going to go under the skin of our turkey breast when it starts cooking. Now, we're starting with 8 tablespoons or 1 stick of unsalted butter, and it's sort of softened here, you can see. Just want to mash it down a little bit first before we add our other ingredients. First up, a teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, a tablespoon of minced garlic, and a teaspoon of dried rosemary. And we're just going to mix this up. All right, I am happy with that. This is going to get covered and it's going in the refrigerator. It'll be ready for us tomorrow. So I'll see you back here when it's time to cook up our turkey breast. Well, our turkey breast has brined overnight. I went ahead and gave it a quick rinse, and it's on a tray right here. Now, this is not what we're going to be roasting it in, but I want to let a little bit of the excess liquid drain off. You can see it draining in there. There's a lot of moisture that's been absorbed into the turkey breast here, and that's what we want. But right now, let's go ahead and get our butter under the skin. Now, when you're doing this, you don't want to rip the skin completely off, and you may not be able to get it in every place, but you want to get it in as many places as you can. So I'm just taking handfuls of the butter, and you can see it's kind of still stiff right out of the refrigerator, but just get it in there. And as it warms up, especially in the oven, it's going to melt, it's going to coat the meat, it's going to drip off. It's going to be terrific. Now, if you don't want to do this with the butter, you don't have to. It's not an absolutely necessary step, but it does help bring a little flavor. Now what I want to do is just give my skin here a quick pat down with a paper towel to remove some of the excess moisture. The seasoning I'm going to be using today on the outside from Simply Marvelous Barbecue is a spicy apple rub. I want to give it a quick turn over. Get a shake on this side. Try and get that exposed meat on the edges too. All right, that's looking good. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees. I'm gonna get a temp probe in here. It's gonna go in the oven, and at about 110 degrees, we're gonna bring it back out and we're gonna glaze it with that glaze that we made. First, we're gonna transfer it to our roasting pan. Now our ultimate finish temperature that I'm gonna pull it at is 158 degrees. It'll have that carryover to bring it up to that 165. Down here into the thick part of the breast. But before we get this in the oven, we're gonna add a little bit of water to the pan. Helps deter any smoke buildup if you have any drippage from the butter that's melting, any grease, things like that. Just a little bit. Now, if you don't have a pan with a rack like this, you could literally take quartered onions, kind of spread it on the bottom of the pan, maybe some oranges, and lay your turkey breast on top of those. Now let's get this in the oven. See you back here when we hit 110 internal. All right, our turkey breast just hit 110 degrees. Let's go ahead and get our glaze on it. It is smelling really good. That apple rub, that sweet apple rub, is really, really good. I love it on poultry. Just gonna give a nice coating of our glaze on here. If you want, you can save some of the glaze for the end. Put it on after it's done cooking. I like to do it this way. You can do it both ways. All right, this is going to go back in the oven until we reach 158 internal. Then we will pull it out, and then it's going to rest for probably about 20 minutes before we slice in and have a taste. See you back here when we hit 158 internal. Here is our turkey breast. Now we're gonna let this rest for 15 or 20 minutes before we cut in and have a taste. And before I do that, I may slice it into 2 half breasts. Here is our finished turkey breast. Now, for those of you wondering how long that took, it took almost exactly 3 hours at 350. And that depends a lot on how big of a turkey breast it is. I honestly don't remember how many pounds this one was that I bought. So that's why I really like to use not a time method, but a temperature method. It's just the way that you're going to get it to the doneness that you want. But let's cut in. Now, do I want to separate it completely into 2 breasts? I think I'm going to. Let's slide one over there. Oh, but look at that inside. That is nice. So let's cut some slices here. Nice and juicy. That is really the reason that brining works on the light meats, on white meats, like chicken breast and turkey breast. It just really helps keep that moisture in. I have got enough here for a taste. Here's some with the skin and that glaze. Let's see. That is incredibly juicy and flavorful. Wow. I hope you can see just how much juice there is in there. Now let's have a bite without not quite as much skin, more of the white meat. Now, whenever I'm doing a whole bird, I always say that the dark meat is my favorite. Chicken thighs, turkey thighs, things like that. But when you're doing a breast, and when you do it the right way by brining it, not to say that that's the only way, but it really is one of the best ways to help retain that moisture. You really just can't go wrong, and the results are amazing.